Kind of like a nice, quiet frequency.
Us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Got to switch to the proper camera here. What is a thing you do on Saturday evenings? It could be many things. It could be right here at the Old Tube Radio Network. And, they're handing. I didn't see that. Thank you. I didn't have I just ran into the air chair here and have to get the list. We have the new 8-week roster tonight. We will be doing a 00 thing if I can get the numbers. I think everything looks okay. Hello to you. It is a nice, quiet frequency. The skip that was ripping and roaring in here tonight from all over just faded away about 5 minutes ago. So we'll see how that works. If we can get some of the short E-skip coming in tonight from the Pacific Northwest or wherever it is, to be listening to your radios. If you hear the wafting of the Old Tube Radio Network coming into your speaker, you might be able to say hello, radio, and we hope you can do that. First, before I do they said go ahead and do 00 first. We're going to do that first. Thank you. He's got the numbers for me here. Let's see if I get them. Oh, I'm stuck in my, what happened? Okay, headphones are stuck. They never want to come on camera. They want me to reach for this stuff. All right, here we go. We're looking for 00. That is from the shortwave listeners that have 8 check-ins from the last 8-week period. If you haven't checked in for a while, they said raise the chair up. More like that. All right. If you haven't checked in for a while, sometimes we will recycle the numbers if it's been a long time. Otherwise, we will have a non-infinite number and it will take forever. All right, I do believe I have an item of interest. I will give that back to you guys over here. And the 00 is, is this allowable? They're shaking their head, yes. They say, certainly. SWL2, Mr. OBP. And I don't even know if he is out there tonight. We will find out. So first, let me see if there are any check-ins early. And we have a couple. Let me bring up the list already for 61, 650. Who else needs an early check-in? Over.
24 checking in.
All right, 24. Thank you, Joseph. We got you checked in. Who else needed an early check-in? Over.
Right. Get Chris, 241.
Chris, 241.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Okay, which Chris is that?
Chris, our Chris here. Doggone it.
Okay.
241 or 240.
Okay, I was thinking there was somebody else. That is 37. Chris, 37. I'll get him.
Yeah, 37. Thank you.
And there was a break, OTR. Go ahead.
Yeah, 53 checking in there, Dennis.
All right, Bob Biller, we've got you with the X and the square. Over.
Thank you, sir.
It is, people reminding me, this is the last day of our daylight savings time. We will be, what will we be doing? Fall back. We'll be falling back. At least I will try not to fall back until the net is over. So that means what? We get an extra hour somewhere, something like that. Also, we tried very hard last week. We had the Talking Pumpkin sort of in lieu of Espresso Trucking Company. They will be here tonight to do their annual ritual. And we're still close enough to Halloween to do that. So maybe at the break between the SWLs and the radio, because they are here in the studio tonight, so we will pick them up as well. Without any further ado, hello to Arcadia, Fresno, Belfast, Maine, Plymouth, Minnesota, Rancho Cordova, Copenhagen, Centerville. We'll be getting to many of you coming up. There's also many of you testing and checking over on the video side. And importantly, those of you right here within the sound of my voice and my receiver that will be checking in your radios tonight. And we are looking forward to that coming up. So without further ado, let me see if 00 is out there. That's sort of like getting a perfect attendance award and then not being able to pick it up. I will get a proxy for 2 because I think he will be around. We will also get SWL number 1, number 2 with a question mark, and number 3, Rob wanted me to check him in. So the next item of interest is SWL 5. Hello, Levant. He might be hanging out at Old Radio Night. We will be checking in with 21 and the gang here in just a moment. And I love the nice quiet frequency. Not even static tonight. Coast to coast. Yes, 21. I see that. We will try the coast to coast contact tonight with no problems. I know you've got some great radios as well. Over we go to. Oh, they need to have the list. Let me get that list. I need a bigger desk. They're working on that. The rumor has it that they're working on a bigger desk. Maybe that will be installed by the end of the month here. But the way things go, I can see why that's messed up. The way things go around here, I don't know about that. Next is SWL7. I was listening for Ed. I don't know if he would have a weak signal. He might be on the big test tonight. There's Honolulu and 21. I don't know. We'll see. Usually maybe not. Hopefully not. Let's go to where are we going? SWL. Oh, out to Sanger for the ever popular 982 Dirt Dog. SWL 9.
458 141 mini grass, aloha.
Okay, here comes the mini grass. 982 Dirt Dog. And I wasn't able to check in on the ditch banks last night, so I'm not exactly sure if I should be giving them a proxy tonight or not. We'll find out. SWL 10 and 30, of course, that's Dwayne and Chrissy. They should be hanging out soon. Let's go over to Dan and Dapper Dan. Mr. Cornbread, SWL 11. Right there and accounted for in SWL 12. Dapper Dan. Polished up the Heath kit this afternoon. It is looking good. I don't know. We have not had Heath kits checking in for a while. So, what do they say? Polish the Heath kit and click your heels twice and say there's no place like home. Maybe we'll get one checking in.
Break OTR.
The break OTR, go ahead, over.
Yeah, let's proxy Ed. I couldn't catch you in time.
Okay, yeah, I'm zipping along here. I'm enjoying the nice quiet frequency. So Ed's got a proxy. Thanks. And we will check in. We will see who's out there. We'll go through the list. So if you're listening, no problem. And as you know, as everybody knows, and don't have to have a number be on any list. There's no secret handshakes, passwords, or anything you need to get in here. All you have to do is join us. And if you have a radio, though, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those Tube radios. We'll get you on the Tube radio list, and then it will sit in the Tube radio archives forever, like the last 40 years. I don't know if we were up to the millionth Tube radio yet or not. Let's go to SWL 13. Echo Link is up. The crossband is definitely up tonight. SWL 14, Sangertown. I bet they've got something going on tonight. SWL 15, Hans, I see you at oldtuberadio.net. You are up in the balcony part tonight and joining us on the video side as well. There will be an X in the square. I've got to mark it in the proper form. If you're playing the home game, go to the green room and pick up the new 8-week roster here, and then start on square one for 11/1/2025, and this will take us all the way up through just before Christmas. Somebody asking, is it true Mr. Spock had a CB radio? It is true Mr. Spock had a Buick Riviera, and I took a look at pictures of the Riv, and I did not see an antenna on it, so we are still not sure if he had a radio in that. Right here behind... There it is, behind the screen here in the control room. SWL 16 helping out as always tonight. Charlie looking good. Thanks for getting our numbers tonight. And SWL2 is our current 00. Somebody give him a call. Let him know that he is 9 pounds in good modulation, whether he likes it or not. SWL17. Alpha 173. I'm trying to think the skip has been pretty good on 10. I don't know if I hear the stations. We can't really hear the East Coast stations that well talking to you guys. Probably. Don't think you'd make it to the West Coast, but you never know. You have to be on the right frequency. You've got to be in the right place and the right time when it comes to radio stuff. Okay, I thought I heard somebody checking in there. Let's go to SWL 17. And I'm kind of on the reduced. Let me check the meters. Yeah, I'm on the reduced power thing tonight, so hopefully you all can be able to hear me. SWL 18, Mikey checked in at Facebook with the cue cards right over there on that side of the camera tonight. SWL 19, Chet. Somewhere between Derby, New York, Belfast, Maine, and Fresno, California. And he's nodding his head that he has rounded up Espresso Trucking Company. They are here in the building. They are. That's why I think we should put them in between the segments tonight, because they're gobbling up what's left of the Halloween candy, and they may be a little bit wild and sugared up by the time the net ends here. Let's go to thank you 19. Let's go to SWL 20. Did he say I should proxy him in tonight? Will he be checking in on a crossband? Or is he napping in front of the radio and will soon be heard? 20 is checked in because I know he's around. Now, 21. I'll put 21 up on the queue. If he's listening, we will head over, and I should have it here if the YouTube. I've been having trouble with YouTube. We're going to bring it up.
How about that?
Okay, there it is. That's 21. They're coming up. I'm gonna stop talking so they can get checked in. Here we go. We'll bring up the audio. There's the video. That is looking in the control room right there.
Jed. I don't know if he's getting us or not there.
Yeah.
He's looking around. SWL 21, South Carolina, checking in. Maybe he's trying to get us. I don't know.
No, we've got you. It's just that big delay.
There he is. All right, 21 checking in.
Sounds better than I do.
103 checking in.
103, got that.
How about a Hammer?
Coast to coast, live check-in right now.
Hammer done fell out on us.
Old Radio Night to the Old Tube Radio Network. Kakalaki to Fresno, live on the Galaxy Saturn.
21 checking in.
All right, we got you guys. You'll hear us on the replay in about 15 seconds. Looking good on Channel 19, and there is no skip land tonight, so thanks. Back to the control room. Let me find the picture. All right, good deal. That worked out well. If you tune in back over to Old Radio Night, you will hear what we just did, because I think they're on about a 20-second delay. That's just in case we say something bad. So 21 checked in live on the Coast to Coast stream. SWL 22. I did not hear anybody trying to talk to Tyler on Skipland like last week, and we don't have the conditions I thought we might have. So I'll get a proxy in for Tyler. SWL 23. 23's good do. We tried our best last week to get Espresso Trucking Company in here and round it up. And it was not successful, but tonight we do have success. Espresso Trucking Company is here. They're at the Candy Bowl devouring what's left of the Halloween candy, and we're going to try and get them staggering up to the microphoniums between the break before we go into the radios tonight, because we have their exclusive, and I don't even know if this has been released other than on the 8-track tape, but we have their exclusive Halloween ditty, especially for the Old Tube Radio Network. So stand by for Espresso Trucking Company. Thank you, 23. He's in the house. Since the neighbors are chucking pumpkins at the antennas, I might as well come to the Halloween party right here. Notice I got rid of my friend over my right shoulder here. He's out in the green room singing where he should be. SWL 24. Joseph with an early check-in. Let's head out to Madera Heights, SWL 25.
Good evening, Dennis. 25 checking in.
Hey, you are sounding good, and we are sending a very happy birthday item out your way from OTR.
Absolutely. And by the way, check the 74 in too, please.
All right, 74 will have a check-in as well. Your radio always sounding good from way far away. 25 he's not just down the street. He's over the hill and way past Grandma's house. You're sounding good. All right, 25 and 74 checked in. And then, before I turn the page, I'll turn the page. So if you're on page 2, stand by. Here, we'll be right with you. I want to say hello to some of the stations watching the video. Do not add the pictures to radio. It just gets confusing. First day of November. We are having a great day. Thank you, Ham Radio Lady. Thanks for joining us here, the Old Tube Radio Network. Ben Hur, CBs and Trucker Tips joining us as well. Thanks for hanging out in the Old Tube Radio Network. Scarecrow and Peter, they've got 428 and the gang are out in the mobile waiting to get some good conditions up into BC land. Whether that will happen tonight, I do not know. And I think we have a crossband check-in. Hello, radio from KB6 GFD 13. I got you checked in. All right, that's 13 checking in on the crossband tonight. So we got Mikey checked in.
All the bills.
Looking good. Any way you can. Triple X Audio, waving a hand from Goose Creek, South Carolina. A lot of good stations of the Carolinas always making it in here tonight. Bert, up in Calgary, I do believe. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. UDX 21. And Gerald is also with us tonight. Big Richard's World, good evening. Thanks for joining us, probably jumping over from Old Radio Night. A lot of good stuff on Saturdays on your Universal Media Netweb or wherever. 1620 a.m. were you to be DXing.
ZBX preparing to roll up the sidewalk.
Were you be able to check in on the AM band? Now, that's a long antenna, that's for sure. QYX 1620 AM. Matambale, all systems are go. We did enough resets tonight to work forever. Also, I see you guys, SWL 31. Let me get to Robert and Teresa right now while we're here watching the video. Robert and Teresa, SWL 31 out of beautiful Hendersonville, Tennessee. I want to see who else is on my list before we continue with page 2 and a few other early check-ins. All right, we are good to go. Haven't broken anything yet. We are. Where are we at? Page 2, SWL 27. You know, the weather should be good at Studio G. He should be checking in. Let's go up the road just a bit and see what is on the menu tonight. In the green room, SWL 28. And Ken, while you're in, SWL 36, let me jump you in case we have an internet blackout, UDX 111. Tonight, Gary finished cleaning the green room after last night's Halloween party. He left a big pile of candy for Espresso Trucking Company. They're doing their number on that. I left a plate since there was so much candy last night, of broccoli and dried apricots. If you don't want candy, that's what we have for you. I noticed nobody is touching that. And Gary, you have earned that coffee. Go get your coffee, and while you're there, pick up some broccoli and some of those dried apricots, and then we'll probably need more coffee. Thanks for checking in. 28. Let me put the proper X in the square. Also, a proxy check-in for SWL 29. We're waiting for 10 and 30. I bet they will be around. SWL 31 moments ago checked in from Hendersonville, Tennessee. And as Motormouth Mall would say, right here, right now, SWL 32. Rob is in, present and accounted for. 3-hour OTR. You know, Rob, we used to do it when we were, and I've got a picture of the old Radio Shack from 2 houses ago, where I have the Commodore, not the Commodore, but the Atari set up. And that was the system, the Atari 520 ST that I used for a packet when I was talking to you back at that time. So, yeah, we need the big party celebration. But we did 3 hours then. We did from 8 to 11. That's mainly because there were so many people on the air back 40 years ago. And when you worked at the TV station on the overnight shift, which I did, when you had that extra hour, they would make another log. You'd have a separate log that would go from 2 to 3 o'clock that they would staple on, and they would add in some type of like infomercial programming to make a few bucks. The good time was when you worked the overnight shift when you lost that hour. It would just disappear. And I can't remember if we got to go home an hour earlier or what it was. But yeah, tonight we'll see what happens. We usually go late anyway, and we have a nice quiet frequency right now, which we are enjoying. Thanks for checking in. Looking good. I haven't had too much time for HF Play Radio this week, but the bands have been good. Not as good as last week. We've been having some A and K numbers that are kind of wacky, but 10 is still open. SWL 33, myself, and anybody else that would like a check in around these parts. SWL 34, hello to Jimmy and Captain Chaos. And I've lost my, I've managed to lose my pen, and we haven't even, oh, here it is. Get Jimmy and Railroader and Captain Chaos checked in. Taking care of all those great Facebook sites. Old Tube CB Radio Network, fans of Sonar Radios, Antique Tube CB Radios. There are many from which to choose. The Central Valley Ditchbank CBers as well, right here in the Central Valley. If you've got pictures of your shack you'd like to put up on that. Over to SWL 35, Red Monkey Communications. The van, the trailer with all the great radios is still around, making its rounds in beautiful Cheyenne, Wyoming. Making sure that we got a check in from Mr. Bill. A lot of the radios that you do hear on OTR probably went through the Red Monkey Communications tweak and peak shop at sometime in the last 40 years. We did get Ken checked in, SWL 36, 111. We've also had a proxy in for SWL 37, Chris. SWL 38. Sam, we had like 2 check-ins from the Minigrass. I thought maybe you'd be able to get a cross-check from the Pacific, but they just faded away. Call-O Radio joining us tonight on the video side. Thanks for that. SWL 39. Yellow Springs, Ohio. Somebody just came in. They've got a banner that says Yellow Springs, Ohio. Well, hello to you. Still plenty of candy down in the green room if you want some. SWL 40.
SWL 40 here, checking in at a comfortable 68 degrees.
It is kind of nice. We're still enjoying this. I think there's some rain coming up. Are you on the newfangled radio with the top off?
No. I'm. That one has. It's the top, the face plate, and the bottom are all off on that radio. Putting the switches back in.
Okay, I don't know if you got a chance to take a transmission on that. I think you did. I think I heard it. But anyway, you're sounding good.
No, I haven't yet, so we'll see what happens.
All right, I got you checked in. Let me check the levels. I think we're okay. Maybe a little bit low. We are in stereo. Believe it or not, we are in stereo. It's just, I'm not sure who's transmitting in stereo, but if you have a right and left speaker, check it out. Let's go. Oh, hey, Neil, I see you. Let me check you in while we are here up on page 4, SWL 147. I know I can find you on my chart with a X in the square. What's going on out there? Needs an early check-in? Yeah, got to get up early. So 10-7, 73 from Dr. Jazz in the Carolina Sandhills. Conditions haven't been too bad on 38 lower for those checking in from that area. Over we go to New York, Road Dog 507. Sam, I see you checking in. 41. How about SWL 42?
Yeah, you got 42 and the crew here. Definitely appreciate it all. Sounding really good. We definitely are enjoying everything we're hearing. Sounds good tonight, Dennis. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. A good time had by most. And you guys are banging in on the S meter as per usual. Thanks for checking in. I'll get the rest of the crew proxied as well.
Thank you, sir.
Direct net roll call, page 2. The radios will be coming up tonight. Glow-in-the-dark stuff. That's what we do here at the Old Tube Radio Network. What do they say on the little readout? Promote the use and distribute information about Old Tube radios on your Class D 11-meter Citizen Band radio or something like that. I think that's what we came up with. So many years ago to say when we started off here, SWL 43. Shortwave listener 44. I was absent on the Ditchbanks sideband net last night, so I bet Ray was in there. We'll give him a proxy check-in here on the AM side tonight. Likewise, we will get Paul and Kelly. SWL 45 checked in. I know you guys are listening. Hope you've got everything ready to go for the autumn-winter time. And waiting for the snows. The snows of winter. Hopefully we won't get too much up your way. Let's go to SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47. How about Sammy? SWL 48. I'm going to get Sam checked in. He was on Facebook over at Ditchbanks. So, Sammy, if you're listening and maybe you can't hear me or I can't hear you, but you are checked in from the Facebook side, let's try SWL 49. Somebody had a note. That's a note. Yeah, okay. Proxy for Brian, Smitty, and Sweet Country Mama. We can do that. Let's go up to SWL 51, 51.
SWL 51 checking in from Sanger, California.
Sounding good from Sanger. I did my testing in different places, so I didn't get to hear you on the SDR. Plus, it was pretty noisy all the way around, but you're sounding good here live and direct. And thanks for checking in, Dave. And they're pointing. Chet is saying, read the prompter. All right, sorry about that. I skipped over. It's on the prompter, right? I skipped over SWL 50. Sorry about that. Gerald, I got you in SWL 50. You had Chet jump up and down trying to get my attention on that one. So 50 should be checked in over my head here. All right, looks good. And back on track here UDX 36. All right, Dave is in. I'm watching. I'm looking. Okay, 36. We're back on track. You can put the cards away now. SWL 52. He might jump in on the crossband at some point. SWL 53 got an early check-in, Mr. Belair. Page 3. SWL 54, Mr. Boardjammer with a proxy check-in. Up the hill we go to SWL 55. And yeah, 43. The only thing he says he likes about winter is European and northern skip. It does change. 10 meters has gotten considerably better. 11, lots of noise. If you get in the early morning, that's the time when things are good, or as you hear sometimes here in the Old Tube Radio Network, the gray line going the other way in the evenings as the sun goes down. And that should change. Things are going to change. You can get in earlier because we're going to go back an hour, a regular time, and then it's going to dump out an hour earlier for the skip. So mark your DX calendar for that. SWL 56 just for kicks. Did get an early check-in.
The net 56 checking in.
All right. I had you checked in early, but I was thinking, I don't remember hearing you. But, you know, that was so long ago. What, 5 minutes?
It was like an eternity.
That's what I think. All right. There is a big X in the square, and we are official. Thanks for checking in. SWL 57. It's out of Central Kentucky. Where is anybody listening from Kentucky tonight? Where is Van Man? He's like our Kentucky rep. Over to SWL 58. And the station that listens to old radio night in the right ear and the old Tube Radio Net in the left ear, and manages to check into both on time. SWL 59. UDX 786, Uncle Hairball, looking good. Checkity check, and we put the X in the square. Over to SWL 60. What is the game? Joe was watching something. I know you're out there, Joe. If you hear me, don't run in. I'll put the X in the square. Also, Mr. 2901 2527. Put an X for that. All right, Frank D, number 1. Yellow Springs. Yeah, all right.
47's in the lounge.
And 47 is in the lounge.
11 meters.
Okay.
We lose the World Series.
Not a problem. That is not a problem. You are here on the crossband beaconing worldwide. Wait a minute. What do I know? I thought the World Series was over. Somebody said the Dodgers won. Is that correct?
They're tied right now. Bases loaded for the Blue Jays, and I'm so sorry to have to check in on this frequency.
All right, well, this is the So Sorry Net, and so you've come to the right place. You are sounding good. We've got you checked in, and bases loaded back to the game. Thanks for checking in. KB6 GFD.
Thank you. I'll check on 11 meters when someone wins this this ball game. KJ6EQB.
Wow, that is why it's so quiet. There's something going on here. In fact, there's nobody behind. Everybody's watching the game. Here I am. I think the Dodgers are playing. You know, I'm from Southern California, so don't ask me what team I could be rooting for. Where I could be rooting for any team. SWL 61 Dino checked in early. Let's go to SWL 62. That is why it's so. Listen to the. This is so quiet tonight. SWL. We should have the World Series every night. SWL 63. This is the Quickie Break frequency. Go ahead.
Yeah, SWL 60 checking in. Sorry about that, Dennis. This World Series is right there on the verge of ending right now. Sorry about that. Checking in on the 2901 base, SWL 60.
Hey, not a problem. We just got to report that it is that way. So back to the series, and thanks for jumping in.
Thank you, Dennis.
You know, they're saying I should have on one of those. If you're watching the video, I've got these boxes going on. They put the World Series in one of the boxes. That would be a copyright violation and a half, I think. 60 is in. Did we call 62? I think we did. Did we call 63? I'm pretty sure we did. I know we didn't call SWL 64 because he gets an early check-in from even before we fired up the tube tonight. He was in early on the video side. SWL 65. 16 is checking in. Either very late. I thought you were over in the green room watching the World Series. But there you are. You guys did a good job of getting me the numbers tonight for the 00 stuff. So, yeah, just be careful. Espresso Trucking Companies is in the green room. So, enter at your own risk. SWL 65 once again. SWL 66. And we needed Jim out here talking. We had some really big skip coming in on 11. He might have been talking. He's horizontally polarized for the skip shooting. A lot of times you can't hear him, but he's doing his thing. I hear that skip coming in. Charles said he was across the room. Yeah, somebody said you were across the room. So, and you left me the numbers, so we're okay. Direct net roll call, page 2. If I can keep going, let's go to SWL 67. Bill out of Canby, Oregon. Is he watching the game? Let me refresh the comments. Hello to Concord. I think that's Concord, Mass. Checking. There he is. About 35 minutes ago. Bill, I see you. One eye on the game, one ear on the old Tube Radio Network. SWL 68. And Kenny, SWL 69 checked in early. And somebody must have made a run. 007 Stream CB, where is it? It's up here. It fell off. Everything I have is aluminum. And the little magnetic guy doesn't stick, but he's rooting for OTR, ExtremeCB.com, and everyone else. They say put it right there. You know what? It sticks to the metal plate in my head. So I know where to put the. See, even the Orban, it doesn't work. Oh, there it goes. It works on that. Well, hope you're doing good. What's the latest? Where's the mobile CB radio van going to be going in the next couple of weeks? Is it getting too cold for people to do the shootouts? I don't know. Thanks for joining us. Let's go to SWL 70. You can tell who all the baseball fans are. SWL 71. I did see Stan in about an hour ago, so we'll get Stan checked in. And Frank said he's heading to Florida. Of course. Now, where else would you go in December, right? You certainly wouldn't be heading up to North Dakota. SWL 72. Foxman 362. Back in the radio room from the chicken coop, it looks like. Move the chickens to the new greenhouse. Moving the chicken pen. Good deal. Need to put chicken wire on top on one side. You know, chicken wire might make a good ground for the antenna. Yeah, you said it's over by the beam, so maybe you can, I don't know if the chickens might get a little tickle when you start talking on sideband, but spread out some more chicken wire under the vertical. You put those chickens to good use. Let's go to SWL 73.
Give him a proxy.
All right, proxy for John. I've got the crossband up. Sometimes he stops by and we'll get him an X in the square, but now is a good time as any. SWL 74, Miss Jilly with the proxy check-in over to SWL 75. At 007, I don't even know what it is that I do. They just, the lights come on and they point to me, and then 2 hours go by and it's like, okay. I say to myself, I'll never do that again. But we are here, of course, for the tube radio operators to give the radio operators a chance to get the rigs on the air, and also to promote the use and let people know. The newer CBers always wonder, what was it like Do tell, O Net Controller, what was it like back in the day when people didn't have social media or computers or phones? What did one do? One did exactly what we're doing. Sit in front of the radio and talk normally to people that we might never, ever meet, that were a mile away, 100 miles away on the CB radio. And yes, they were good enough to be in the living room right next to the RCA round tube color television. And so when Jackie Gleason or Ed Sullivan was over, you turned on the CB radio and took your 5-minute transmission and then listened into whatever was going on. And there was something going on channel 1 through 23. You can believe that. Let's go to SWL 76. SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and all the listeners. 77 on the old boat anchor here, checking in, and hope everybody's having a safe and wonderful weekend.
So far, my push-to-talk key slid all the way across the table. So far, so good. The X is in the square. The radio's sounding. Your radio is sounding good, and we will hear more from it soon.
Roger, roger.
Station.
And there is a station. Go ahead, sir. Over.
Yeah, SWL 52 behind the golden microphone and back to watching the World Series.
All right, sounding good. Above the noise, it is a nice quiet frequency, and it's not over till... Who said that? It's not over till it's over. Thanks for jumping in.
Roger, roger.
You can tell when the commercial breaks happen on the World Series. People run now. What I want to know is, do they run to the radio room first to check into OTR, and then to that other little room, and then to the kitchen, and then back to the TV? I don't know. But we're glad that they take some time out to jump in here at the radio station called OTR 27085 channel 11. Let's go to all the way down to Wild Wildemar, SWL 78. SWL 79. Philip was in. I'm putting an X in the square for Mr. DC. I hear, I think it's hippopotamus. Don't ever try, in the ratings, in the world of ratings, don't ever try to go up against the Academy Awards, the World Series, it's Super Bowl Sunday. You're going to lose every time. Let's go to SWL 80. SWL 81. SWL 82. I'm going to check in for Ron, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of later check-ins when the game concludes shortly. SWL 83. Speaking of chicken wire, it was Art Bell when he built his 1,500-foot loop for his ham radio, and then he put another 1,500-foot loop below that, in the compound in Pahrump, and then he put, I don't know if it was chicken wire, but he put some mesh wire all the way underneath the two loop wires. So don't discount using that chicken wire for something good.
Rebar.
Or some rebar, you could do that. Although I think you need a wider grid. Let's do the infamous 84, 86, 87, and 88. Of course, Jerry Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl all checked in. Over to SWL 90. Looks like we got a proxy for 90. SWL 91. Felix was in earlier. If you're listening, Felix, I know you're staying up late. Maybe you're watching the game, but we have the X is in the square. Thanks for joining us. Felix is all the way out there in the Bronx. Is it? No, they haven't turned their clocks back just yet. Making sure I get the list updated here. And that skip is coming in. I think we've got the secondary gray line going on. I thought I had the DX map here. Oh, I do. Let me find that. Go over to the. This is the what? 10, 11 meter. What's happening now? This is saying that we should have some conditions. Yeah, it's right off the edge. There's Hawaii. The purple circle. That's 10 meter. Let me pan down. Yeah, look at there it is. A big stripe on the east coast of Australia. That's what we're hearing right now. New Zealand, all heading out this way. That is your DX maximum usable frequency right now on your 11 and 10 meter band. Looks pretty good. Back to roll call. We made page 4. We're doing good tonight. SWL 92. And Tony, 20 meters hot and heavy. I bet it is. I've been jumping there when the sun goes down, and it's always, we're right in that, we're still in cycle 25. I even was listening on 12 meters today. There was stuff going on. Let's go to SWL 93. Somebody said get a proxy in for STD, which I will do. SWL 95. Checking in from Orlando, Florida. Who's going to be in Florida? 007. Heading out to Florida. SWL 97. It's good to see Mr. Boston, the Boston guy. Big X in the square. Thanks, Jim, for joining in the first week of our 8-week roster. I know you subscribed to the OTR home game. Putting a big X in the square. Stay in the lines, color in the lines. Don't go over into SWL 98. Keep it on the 97 when you put that X in there. And who was it that said Pete? R-A-P-R. You know what? His old call, W6OBB, is back. Someone took that call. And they've sort of honored Art. If you go to the QRZ page with... the W6OBB call. He's got some aliens. And it turns out, I talked to the guy, he knows that is a great call, and I guess he was just waiting to get it. And then he talks to his dad, who lives here in Fresno. So the old broken bottles is, you can still hear that call being wafted about the amateur radio bands here, at least on 40 meters on the West Coast. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radios are coming up. The Espresso Trucking Company is throwing up. No, they're good. We locked the liquor cabinet. So there's just going to be a sugar high for them tonight. Let's go to SWL 98. SWL 99, I got a proxy check-in for Radio Randy. And then were I to be an astute radio operator, I would figure out how to go over... Yeah, I would figure out how to go over to the Echo link in anticipation of tubes on the air from SWL 100, KD4BAO, KB6GFD. Take a transmission. See what Tony is doing tonight in
Hey, good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
Sounding good. Great audio tonight. I know you've got the tubes fired up. You've got one ear on 20 meters, but are ready to make sure that we get everything checked in as it comes along. Thanks for joining us. 73, KD6GFD. And Charlie, great story. I don't know. He sort of disappeared from the West Coast, as you know, because he was in the Philippines for quite some time. And boy, I don't remember his. I remember Ramona, but I don't remember his second wife. But he did come back, did the radio show for a little while, and then we lost it. But a lot of fun chatting with Art and the group back in the day and listening to Coast to Coast. We do our own version of Coast to Coast here when we check in with JT. Not quite as spooky as working with Art. Let's go to SWL 102. I was looking to see if we had any more Echolink check-ins. If you pop in there and I notice you, we'll get to you at some point. Hello, John, up there in Scranton, Arkansas, checking in. Like I said at the top of the hour, that's the 5th grade. He got a perfect attendance, but absent during the award ceremony. No certificate. My brother did the same thing. My older brother, and you're going to love this one, had 4 years of perfect attendance in high school. Nobody does that. Who wants 4 years? And so he was purposely, this is on purpose when they have the ceremony, he was purposely absent when they handed out the little certificate. You walk across the stage and picked up that. He did that on purpose. So you are in good company. And did they mail you the certificate? At least you still get a certificate. It's not like you didn't do it. You just weren't there to pick up the certificate. And that's why we do the perfect attendance thing. If you, at least all you need is 8 weeks here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let me back up since we're on page 4. Those playing the home game. Just move up a little bit. SWL 83. JZ out there in Sylvania, Ohio. I see you, and we're putting, is the X in the square? Yes, it is. Good stuff. How could you not get your certificate? It may still be in a dusty Rolodex file somewhere. Or maybe it succumbed to the big fire of '98. I don't know. That is a traumatic experience for a 5th grader to not get your certificate. But here you are. You made it through. I'm proud of you. And there's a question. Someone asks, how do I check in? Question mark, as we say in Hammy Radio. Did it. And kick him in the Dewey. You just did. That's the way you check in. You don't have to have any special numbers, although we do have a shortwave listener list that's been going on for years and years and years. If you were to be locally here in the Central Valley of California and had a tube radio and you were on channel 11, in moments we'd be checking you in. That would be one way to do it. You could also go to oldtuberadio.net, and I think if you log in with the Facebook page or Facebook thing, you can check in that way. Hello to Olympia, Washington, who just joined us over at the net site and doing what you're doing. Saying hello radio and enjoying what we do, which is we're going to have a parade, I hope, of some of the classic radios from 1958 when the FCC banged their gavel and said it's Class D time, to about 1978 when the manufacturers said, that solid state stuff, well, you just can't beat it. But we think a little bit differently here on a Saturday evening. And like the fins and chrome of your old radio or of your old cars, we make sure that at least you can get the radio on once a week, drive it around the block. Right now, we're doing the roll call, page 4, looking for SWL. Joey is saying he's never going to get here. SWL 103. Joey checked in, of course, as he always does, at oldtuberadio.net, and methinks he's probably right there. Right there, right here, right now. I've got the X in the square. Oh, and I saw I saw your message. Let me see if I can get, I might leave a response to you over at .net for a way to, I think you wanted to send an item of interest out here to Net Control Land. So we will work on that. Let's head over up the hill to SWL 109. Maybe watching the game. SWL 110. Shortwave listener 111. Robert checked in earlier during all the skip. He checks in early. If we have no skip, I would hear him. But oftentimes from Reedleytown is a bit tough. Next, we are at SWL 113. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
All right, in between the World Series, you are sounding good. Thanks for jumping in.
Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
And Foxman 362 said he heard the 111 guy. Where is it that you would hear the 111 guy? I have to honestly say that at least live, I've seen the recordings, or I've heard the recordings, but I have never heard the 111 guy live here on my radio. So I'm doing it wrong. I'm not listening in the right spot, and maybe that's a good thing. Page 4, we are here. We talked about Radio Randy earlier, and here's a guy that could check in if we would get some conditions tonight, which we don't have. But, 99 knows there are various ways to jump in, and he's doing it right now. Hello, Randy, looking good. Hopefully I'll catch you guys on 75 at some point. I haven't been doing much HF lately, but it was nice to chat with you all the other night. Thanks for pulling me out of the mud, and you're looking good tonight. 99 is in. $114 is in. Thank you, Wayne. Let's go to SWL 128. John checked in about an hour ago at oldtuberadio.net. Thanks for joining us as always. We should have a little card. So we give you an Old Tube Radio card to put next to the Popular Electronics. Let's go to SWL 131. So the 111 guy was 9 pounds in good modulation. Maybe it's 9 pounds in bad modulation. That's more like it. Let's go to SWL 133. Shortwave listener 135. Might be a baseball fan. Or not. Appreciated all the hard work that Cliff did the last month, getting in not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 Magic Eye spooky, scary Magic Eye tubes for our October check-in, as he often does. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 137. I think we're still proxying Tony up in Corscold, as he's still out. I think he said he'd be out for 2 weeks. So I don't see him on Echolink. So Tony, if somehow you're listening in on the Universal Media Network, please note that you are checked in. SWL 147, Neil checked in because he had an early call. One of the guys who represents the Central Valley in Skipland, SWL 188. Up in Corscold, the Starliner, SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis. Thank you.
And thank you for jumping in. You're sounding good, and Skipland is no match for you tonight. You're sounding good.
Thank you. Again, I found the front of the mic.
I did that to Larry on the 2 meter. He said, "What happened to your radio?" And I realized, oh yeah, there's a good side and a bad side. Thanks for checking in. Oh boy, here comes the skip. SWL 226. And they're saying I'm actually on time tonight. Anybody else need a check-in? They said give Shockwave a proxy. I will do that. Okay, I'm going to jump out for a second, do what I need to do to get ready for the tube radios. Those will be coming up. It might be after the game, but we will be here. So do not go away. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radios glowing in the dark. That's what we will be doing. Back in a moment. All right, we've got a little skip going on in the background. We were able to gather Espresso Trucking coming up to the microphone. So if the game is still on, go ahead and turn your radio up. Maybe this will be an appropriate noise? An appropriate song for your World Series evening. Espresso Trucking Company and Monster Crash. We'll be back in about 2 minutes on the Old Tube Radio Network.
I was working some DX late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my SWR began to rise. And suddenly, before my eyes, there was a monster crash. A monster crash. Things went up in a flash. There was a crash. It blew out the sash. Shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash, from the lavatory in the bedroom east to the family room where the teenagers feast. The family were jolted from their humble abodes. A static discharge from my tube electrodes. It was a monster crash. A monster crash. They ran a 50-yard dash. It was a crash. Well, I broke out in a rash. Shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash. The relays were sparking tons. The magic smoke had just begun. I fumbled for the kill switch and turned around to run. The shack was rocking, it was making strange sounds. My tower started twisting, then dropped to the ground. The fire department was about to arrive, with sirens wailing as they entered the drive. They heard a monster crash. A monster crash. They backed off in a flash. It was a crash. Scrambled out in a dash. Shack is trash. I'm gonna cost wads of cash. Out from the wreckage, my cell phone did ring. My neighbor, he was troubled by just one thing. He heard all the noise, raised his voice and said, "Keep it down, you fiend, I'm trying to go to bed." He heard a monster crash. A monster crash. I said, "I'll show you my lash." He hung up in a rash. Shack is trash. I'm gonna cost wads of cash. Everything's cool. I'm back upon the band. My monster crash is legend all across the land. For SWLs are listening, this tale is meant to. Forget to ground your gear and it'll cost you. You hear a monster crash. A monster crash. Things blow up in a flash. There'll be a crash. You'll run off in a dash. Your shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash. Easy, Bozo, you impetuous old man.
All right, back in a bit with the Tube Radio. See you in a minute or two. Yeah, radio. We'll stand by. Now we're at the top of the 11th. We'll just hang tight a little bit here. Tight a little bit here. All I know is that television master control operators all throughout the United States are not liking this at all. Maybe I should do a reading of Casey at the bat. Maybe that's why they're doing this tonight. They figure they get an extra hour. They can go as long as they want on the World Series. Yeah, Paul, that's what I'm thinking. They're taking advantage of that hour. KI6CBA. Albert, are you watching the series? Everybody is glued to the World Series. KB6GFD.
KI6CBA. I don't know if I'm modulating or not, but I just woke up. I'm probably late for the check-in. But I heard of the game when I was out shopping. People say, "You gonna watch the baseball game?" I go, "What? We're in football season."
Yeah, there's something called I think they call it the World Series going on. It's gone extended. They're waiting for somebody to score a run, I guess, for it to be over. And so we're taking a little lull time here in the Old Tube Radio Network. We can't check in a radio until we have a winner. But anyway, I wanted to say hello, radio. You're going to get an extra hour of sleep tonight anyway if you're in one of those places that puts the clock back. So you're in good shape all the way around, and we've got you checked in over. Well, he signed out. You're gonna watch the baseball game.
It's quiet out there.
I know. I'm just kind of dragging my feet here. It's the figure we get a winner, we can start checking in radios, right?
Yeah, winner, chicken dinner.
Oh man, I remember being at the TV station doing World Series stuff, and like the Indy 500, when something goes overtime, it just screws you over.
Or rain delays.
And you've got shows coming up, you've got a back time, and they're going to be doing a newscast, and it's just a mess.
You see panic in everybody's faces.
People just don't understand. Anyway, I hope somebody wins. but it is nice, quiet. I mean, like really quiet. That good kind of quiet.
Yeah, you can hear a pin drop.
Yeah, where are they playing this World Series? Will there be an earthquake delay? We've had that before.
The World Series is in Toronto.
Oh, okay. Then I don't think we'll have to worry about an earthquake. The only restaurants that are open are sports bars, I bet. At least we know the Jammer's a baseball fan. Which leads me to wonder.
Wonder what?
If the game is over, if we're going to hear something.
I think the Amish brothers got front row seats there. The other day it went 19 innings. It was about 2 minutes to 12 when the game ended.
Are you kidding me? For the World Series?
Yeah. Yeah, it was back when I think Toronto was. It was about midway. They went 19 innings. Game finished at 1 minute to midnight.
That's our time, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That means it was on the East Coast. It'd be 2 or 3 in the morning. Hey, and Kenny's listening, and he just checked in from Santa Cruz/Tulsa. Hello, Kenny. And this is indeed the Old Tube Radio Network, just kind of hanging out. And hello, Richard. We're going to check in for SWL 78.
Dodgers won the World Series.
Wait a minute. How did they do that?
They just turned a double play, took out Toronto. Damn it. Yeah. It worked in their favor. They had one on there and doggone it, turned a double play. Dodgers are world champions.
Once again. Well, maybe we'll hear some Skip from Southern California.
Well, not from Toronto anyway.
Could be. That's probably more like what we would hear. All right, everybody, get your refreshment and do what you have to do. And the first person that's got a radio will be listening for your check-in. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, 77.
77. All right, I'm hearing some fireworks going off around here. So I don't know if that's they're shooting at somebody or they're celebrating. 77. I have the formerly untouched SWL. I'm sorry, formerly untouched. Take two. Formerly untouched OTR list ready to go with the radio number 1, possibly something that you're sitting in front of. Over.
Yes, sir. Kind of apropos. The Viking Messenger 1 by E.F. Johnson. They started producing this radio from 1958 till 1961, and it was their first citizens band transceiver.
Indeed it was. There was sort of that race from a couple of companies when it was like the end of 1958. They knew it was coming, but it wasn't official until the end of 1958 when they could actually put a rig on the air. All right, I've got a couple of shots here, so I'm going to just scroll through them. I'll keep the microphone, then we'll go back to you. That's number 1, because I don't even know what they are. That's number 2. I think that is In the Car of Elvis. And then we've got we have a lot of them. This is a very popular radio. All right, there's the Messenger as it's, we'll start with that one. This is sort of what the FCC thought Class D was going to be. Two-way radio for business or personal use. And there you go. There's the happy guy in a suit and tie running his radio, talking on some business. The successful businessman sitting in front of a curtain. I don't know what he's doing there, talking on the radio. So you use your best businessman voice and take a transmission.
My best businessman voice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got the painted emblem, just like that up in the corner. Mine's a tad different. Mine has the Viking helmet with the spikes coming off the top, and the big letter J in the background for E.F. Johnson, and says Viking right underneath the emblem. The nickname for this radio, long-standing, was called the Whiteface. Everybody knew it as the Johnson Whiteface.
And for years, when I first started my CB career back long ago when I was in high school and never had seen one of these radios, I indeed thought, well, it must be a Whiteface. And then I actually did get to see one, and it was like, well, wait a minute, that's not a Whiteface at all. That's more of a silvery chrome brushed, I don't even know what you would call it, but let me go to the shot here. It's exactly like that. But I see why they did that, because there wasn't much to the front of that radio, but the inside counts. Boy, your audio is great. I hope you'll be able to listen to the playback, and I gather from what you said earlier, this radio was on the bench not too long ago.
Yeah, we got it from Harvey. I've always wanted one, and Jerry picked it up and presented me a gift, a Johnson Whiteface. Harvey gave us a really good deal on it. And then I recently went in and did a few more capacitors on it and cleaned all the tube sockets and tightened all the pins up. Every tube in it still says Johnson on them, except for the one I dropped the other day. Oh, I wanted to just kick myself. As far as I can tell, everything is still as original as you can get, except for, of course, the capacitors. But what a great radio, really good talker. And I've always loved the jeweled orange and red transmit and receive lights. The way that they jeweled them, they look really cool.
For 1950s and the 40s, that was sort of the thing. Anybody that has an older, I'm going to say a tube radio, but a console model where, it had doors or something, you might have the doors closed and not know if the radio was on, they would put somewhere on the case. I've got a couple of radio record players with the wood flip top, and they will have a pilot light in the front, so you could tell that the thing was on, even if you had it closed. I'm pretty sure that was their method behind the madness. Let's see if I get a closer up on that, because there was two. One of them, I think, and you help me with this, one of them stays on all the time, and it's not really bright. And the other one, if you talk, does it sort of flash or blink with your audio?
Yeah. The orange one on the bottom, or amber, I guess you would call it, is actually very bright on this one, which is awesome. And then the top one is a nice bright cherry red that stays on, but when you modulate, it does do the blinky. The other cool thing is if you turn the receive volume up, the one on top, the red one, will start modulating with the receive volume.
Oh, I did not know that. I have one of them here. I actually long ago did net control. We were doing the rotating net controls using the Johnson Whiteface. It's a good transmit radio, as everybody can hear. You're getting some thumbs up. The problem I had with receive, mine, sometimes it doesn't have that really good, was it automatic volume control or AVC or AGC. So when someone is loud, they are really loud. And someone is soft, they're really soft. You were constantly turning the volume up and down. And then it would get so loud, the radio would rattle, and would rattle. The crystal for channel 11 was loose in the socket. It would rattle the crystal enough out of the socket where I'd have to bang the radio to get it back in the socket. So it wasn't the greatest net control radio for receiving, but boy, it's good in transmit, as we are hearing with yours. The photo we're seeing is purportedly, supposedly, allegedly, the Johnson Whiteface that's in, and car buffs will know this dashboard of a 59 Lincoln Continental that is supposed to belong to Elvis Presley. And they did make three versions, the 6-volt, the 12-volt, and the 110 or 117 volt. I'm not sure exactly which one you are running, but it sounds good. Over.
Yeah, I had to go through the 110 side, the mains, and I felt I needed to fuse the mains. The radio had no fuses whatsoever, and I wasn't comfortable with that, so I went in there and fused the mains right off the back of the power switch. So if something goes awry, it just cuts the mains right off to the radio.
a good deal and a safe bet for keeping it the ability to check in multiple times here on the Old Tube Radio Network. It's really plain on the front. So I know on mine, I think someone took a pencil and actually, I don't know if it's 1, 2, 3 or ABC on the channel selector. It's I believe it's on the front, but it's the same, it's the same silver, so it kind of blends in. So to mark the channels on yours, now you might have undone something, but I'm just wondering if they've got the Dymo labels or someone took a pencil like they did on mine and just wrote the channel numbers on there.
Well, this one does have the A, B, C, D, E, and it does blend in. Mine is the silver sparkly face, just like that one, and that is my emblem, same emblem, and it does say Johnson under the speaker, but it is kind of blending in with the silver. It does say Messenger right above the channel selector, and then down at the bottom you have the squelch and off. It says off, or actually it says off and squelch. Very basic, but built like a tank, like Johnson always builds them. This is a workhorse. I had a Messenger 2, Johnson blackface, back in the good old days. And my lockdown switch on my Turner Plus 3 got locked down, and I went off with some friends to go camping. Unfortunately, I hung a dead carrier on Channel 8 for almost 2 days solid, and radio was still going strong and working just fine. Unfortunately, there was almost a 2-day dead carrier on Channel 8 that weekend.
The day of the Heterodyne. No, that's what I like about these radios. They're not underperformers, but probably some of them could be modifiable for 10 meters, and I think they're very, very capable. A lot of the guys liked these for doing modifications because definitely capable of more than about 3.5 watts output. One of the guys I used to talk to had one of these, and he didn't like the receive, so he paired it because he didn't like the transmit on the Browning. He didn't like the transmit sound, but he liked the transmit sound on the EF Johnson, but he loved the receive better. So he paired it with the Browning receiver, used the Johnson as the transmitter, and then there was a modification. They did a lot of these in LA, but I've never seen one here where they were turning them into controlled carriers. And I don't know if they were screen modulating or what they were doing, but the guys would flip a switch, and all of a sudden they were now only getting signal out when they were modulating, like a modulator, and then they put it through some type of reverse preamp, and man, these things were loud. One more question. Sound, like I said, sounds good. I hope you can listen to the replay, but the audio is perfect. These come with a microphone wired in. A lot of the early 59, 60, 58 radios were like that because changing microphones wasn't really a thing. Again, there wasn't supposed to be much technical stuff going on with this radio. It wasn't supposed to be doing that, and if you wanted a bass microphone, they could probably sell you one, wire one in when you picked it up from the shop. So is your D104 wired in, or did someone put a plug on it so you can plug it in and out easily?
It still has the original hardwire cable coming out of the radio. We put, Jerry put a Cobra 4-pin adapter on the end of that hardwire, and I do have the original banana mic like you see, and the mic clip just like that on the side of the radio. But right now we have a unamplified D104 from the late 70s plugged into it.
And as I mentioned earlier, keep that microphone around because it makes everything sound good. It's a perfect tone. Really nice and clear, articulate, sharp audio, like Bob Heil would say, this is what you do. It's not coloring the sound at all. It sounds like the element's in really good shape, and I have a feeling that were you to put some type of audio board on that radio would probably also do some good bass response. EF Johnson Messenger. I was looking to see if we had any other info We used to, but what I've got, the original price, probably the 1958 price was $134.95. I think they went up after that, but this was the deal. This is, if you were going to get into it, to probably the bargain radio to get what you want. And like you mentioned, E.F. Johnson, the radio they made prior to this, they didn't make any Class D radios, was 80 pounds. And you could do the same thing. You could key down forever. It was basically a very small broadcast transmitter, the Viking Valiants and the Viking Ranger and the Ranger 2. So they just turned everything down. That's why it sounds so good. And same thing. It's probably just a really, really, really little broadcast transmitter. They just turned the power down to make the FCC happy. Back to you. Thanks for radio number 1, our first home run after the World Series over.
Yeah, and it's just cool that they were able to come out with this little transmitter and keep it simple, keep it affordable, and just the quality audio, and it's just a workhorse. And this D104. Boy, I've used it on a lot of radios, and the element in this particular D104 is something special because it works really good with all the radios.
Indeed it does. And one of the listeners mentioned they were looking for Blackface, which is basically the same radio. I think they upgraded the receiver with a better AVC or an AGC. They added the 10 channels and the receive issue, but I think transmitter-wise, it's going to be pretty much the same. So you cannot go wrong with either the Viking whiteface, the Viking blackface, or the 223, which is, again, just a slightly modified version of what's going on. Sounds great. It is the reason we do what we do on a Saturday evening, to allow, obviously you can get on the air anytime you want, but to share the radios and to get an opinion on how it works, and maybe to get somebody else excited about, you know what, I'm going down to the thrift store every weekend to see if I can find one of those. Sounds good.
You betcha. Hey, I sure appreciate it, Dennis. Boy, we always enjoy the show and love the opportunity to get out here and exercise all these beautiful radios that Jerry has. I have a couple, but boy, he's got a great collection. And 73s to everybody that's listening out there. 77 here, 1017. We'll be sandbagging.
And it's looking really good on the S meter tonight. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
Well, I don't know about music. That's probably as close as we get. The latest news is we have a new World Series champ, and the Old Tube Radio Network's looking for radio number 2. 60. You have our radio number 2 back into the Radio Shack. So where were they? Were the game in the 11th or the 12th inning when it finally ended?
You know what? I got lost in the innings because these guys are known to go up so doggone far. 11, maybe 11th inning or 10th inning. Shame on the mess. I'm sorry to admit that we weren't keeping up with that. These guys could have went on another 5 innings the way they were playing. It was definitely a pitcher's game. They did an excellent job. Dennis, I'd like to check in my Johnson, my Blackface Johnson.
Chronologically correct. E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. I have a shot. Let's see if I got something a little bit. I've got a couple of these, so let me scroll through. That's the 2. I'm going to take a look at one more. I've got another one. That's the ad. And then I've got number 4, because they're not showing. Oh, there's the backside. All right. We'll start with the rear, the coveted rear position of the Messenger TWO that has that interesting little plug plug in the back. Well, it's got the plug that plugs into the wall, if indeed you have that style. And then it's got the looks like a short little metal tube that goes in there. You may probably have that as well, but that was for some extra little device that they made at the time. Over to you for a transmission, and it sounds, like I said, this one sounds as good. Better? I don't know. But it sounds as good as the one we just heard. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is a nice-looking Johnson that 77 has there. I admired it. Doggone it. Yeah, it does have a doodad in the back there. I wasn't sure if that was for that horn warning thing that they plug in the back, or was that the cable to make it go 12 volt or 6 volt? I'm not sure. 10 tubes, Dennis. 10 tubes, 4 little dials. You got your regular channel selector, and a light there that it sort of acts like a little blinky light in the background. It's behind the screen, but it does light up pretty nice, orange. Channel selector, and you got your ABC on the left, and your volume, and your squelch on the right. That turns the radio off and on, and the volume works as the volume.
It works as it should. Citizen radio transceiver in the 23-channel tunable receiver and 10-channel transmit. So that's the upgrade from the Whiteface or transmit and receive. So it'll allow you to do that. 2 IF stages for improved selectivity. I think that was the other thing they did. Excellent adjacent channel rejection, which is a big help. Improved noise limiter circuitry. I don't think there's a switchable noise limiter in there, but they probably engaged something. So if you were driving along, it would help click out the noise. And back in this time, what was the big noisy car? It was the VW, the Bug. The Volkswagen Bug would put all sorts. You always knew when there was a VW going down the street. Plug-in for Vision. Here's the back. Plug-in provision for tone alert selective calling system. And of course, I know this is your favorite. It has new modern styling. Over.
Yeah, that is my favorite. Every time this radio, I turn it on, it just seems to get all my attention. It's a great radio, and for whatever it was used for, if it was for communicating to the work trucks or possibly taxi cab, I'm not sure, but it was designed and built for the job. A good-looking radio. And doggone it, that tone alert, I'm looking into that. As soon as I can get a break here on catch up on some of the bills and stuff, I'd like to get a hold of the tone alert there to complete the radio. I think it was designed for it, designed with it. It should be with it.
Indeed, there might be a couple floating around here in the local area, so keep Harvey in tune that you might be looking for one, and he may come up with something at the right time and the right price. Other than that, it's working just fine. Nice loud audio. And what was the you probably told me, but I didn't write it down. What was the microphone that you are using? Over.
This is preamplified D104, and this one is got the DIN plug on the side of the radio. When I first got the radio, the cord was coming out of the bottom of the radio. The gentleman that sold it to me didn't give it to me right, and doggone it, the radio kind of slipped. It didn't hurt the radio. We caught it in time, but it did disconnect the cord at the bottom. So Harvey looked her over, got her going good, and gave me a DIN plug on the side, so it's on the left side, and now it's got the D104 hooked up to it, not the mic that was with it. The fellow that I bought the radio from kept it. But anyway, I appreciate you letting me check this one in, Dennis. I've got another one that's warming up.
Well, appreciate you bringing it by. That is what we do here in the Old Tube Radio Network. Check in the radios, make sure that they're still working, and yours is working fine. It is radio number 2 from E.F. Johnson, the Viking Messenger TWO. The two models on this, and they came, the numbers were similar on the Whiteface. This is a 242-162 and a 242-163. So I believe the 162 model was the 12-volt DC. They stopped doing the 6-volt version because I don't think the 6-volt batteries probably stopped in the cars in the late 50s, and so they figured they had the white face for that. And then at 115-volt AC was the 163 model. We had a price of about $135, and these were at about $170, 10-tube with the 23-channel tunable receiver. It looks like if you go to oldtuberadio.com, it says it's a Johnson Messenger 2 SAMS CB PDF. So if anybody's interested in looking at some of the components, or they got to change some capacitors like Dennis was doing on the other radio, they might be able to find them in that if you do not have the SAMS PhotoFax CB5. Thanks for bringing it by.
47.
All right, and Hippopotamus is in there from down under, and then from a little bit over from down under, 47. Hello, radio, and this is our post World Series radio check-in. Go ahead, over.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad I can use this one right now. We have no cable TV over here, so we get over the air. And I don't know what happened, but the second I turned these radios on and got them warming up, our TV just could not receive that game. But anyways, game's over, radios are on, and what more, or how much better could it get than to check in at Robin T123.
It's good to go for our World Series, and being out of the TV business that I have been after a while, do you know what local station was actually carrying the World Series?
That's a good question. I think it was Channel 26. The only thing I can guarantee is we were kind of asking ourselves that, because once we started losing signal, you switch to a different channel and then go back, and your TV kind of adjusts. But whatever station it was, when you flip to a station on our TV at least, it tells you what you're supposed to be watching, and it did not match what was actually on the air. I think it was 26, though.
Probably. That's this new, they have like a PSIP system, and we were discussing that earlier because that's probably on some sort of a schedule. At 9 o'clock this happens, at 11 o'clock this happens, at 10 o'clock, midnight this happens. And so when the game runs over, the little clock says, well, it's 10 o'clock. We should be watching All in the Family or whatever might be coming on, and so it just switches, even though that's not what is on, and that kind of makes it really fun for everybody involved. All right, enough baseball talk. Thanks for jumping in to the air chair with your winner for the Radio World Series with the Magic Eye. As you know, October, and we played some Halloween fair music from Espresso Trucking Company. So this would be basically our last show of the Halloween season. So it's good to know that you've got a Magic Eye tube in store for us. Over.
I do, and I'm so sorry. I have been so negligent in checking my Magic Eye tube radios in. Can I ask, do you know roughly how many, during the month of October, do you know roughly how many Magic Eye tube radios checked in?
There was at least 4, one for each week. Were you putting yours up to number 5? And I believe, I'm trying to think, did we get one of these? We got that. I think maybe we did get, I think Cliff always makes sure that he checks in his. And this is the, I think it's a 6RE13 where we're looking right into the side of the tube. And they cut a little spot out in the front sketching panel so we can look right at that tube winking and blinking. So you're number 5, over.
Oh, good. Well, for the record, I don't think there's anything new I can say about this radio, unfortunately. But it is my favorite. maybe it's my favorite because it's the first tube radio I ever got in the lounge here. But it's been relatively trouble-free. So I guess, what was my last issue? Sometimes you got to wiggle the switches. Maybe it was the PA switch that was a little unhappy. But anyways, man, it's gone camping with me countless times on the road in town here a few times. I guess it's with the jack of all trades. It's been a fun radio. Definitely one of my favorites, especially when it's late and I'm tired and I don't feel like screaming into an unamplified microphone, which this one is not running right now, thank goodness.
You don't have to. You always sound good on that. The voice sounds natural. Doesn't sound like you're talking too loud or anything like that. If you're watching the playback, I switched on the preamp. So that brought your signal. Somebody might be watching and said, what did he do? I said, that was me on the receive, switching the preamp. We've got a little bit of skip coming in, but you're well over that. You can hear the heterodyne underneath you. Doing a good job. The Robin T123B, this was their flagship up until, was it 1972, I think. When they went to the B model, they went to the plate modulated Panasonic 2 chassis. Maybe this was, I don't know, just something new. Trying to, especially in the early 70s, everybody was trying to keep up. It was like putting a new automobile out each year. You had to have something brand new, but no reason to diss this one at all. Sounds good, and we always enjoy it. Over.
Oh, good, thank you. And can I ask, you said the Robin T123 ended in what year, 72?
I believe, I'm checking my file on the Rolodex, is what happened is that's when the 123B came out. That went from 72 to 76, and my guess is they might have sold these, at the same time, getting rid of the old stock and the new stock coming in. So probably 72. I don't have a start date for this. 11 tube, 2 transistors, so it did go 12 volt DC, and it's in CB35, page 95. So I'm going to say the last year of this would have been somewhere around 1972.
Okay, well, that's funny. I think I made a comment about not having anything new to say about that particular radio. Maybe we just discovered it. If indeed the Robin T123 basically ended in 72, then that means that radio was in manufacture when I was born. So that's a good thing. Unlike the radio that I'm going to check in really quick, the Robin T123B, which, well, unfortunately, I predate.
Okay. Now, you're not on the B now. You're still on the 123, right?
Nope. It's the B as in Bravo.
Oh, wow. What microphone? Because the modulation typically has, I can notice the change, but this time I did not on the volume.
Well, I think then something's got to be broken somewhere, and that's rather unsettling.
Well, we'll call it broken in a good way. So let me update to the B. And someone asked a question. They said they found a radio like this one, but it turns out there was a T-Berry. And yeah, there was sharing of these chassis between the two. Now, the 123B, and I'm bringing it up now, and that should match it. Now that, if you've got a T-Berry, there's probably about 5 or 6 different radios that will actually match the insides to the radio that Mike is on right now, the Robin T123 Bravo sans the Magic Eye. But you look internally, and they're all the same. It's a Panasonic chassis with the plate modulation, and what changes is what's on the outside. The Robins tended to get the full Radio Monty with lights and accessories. And depending on the other radios you got, the T-Berry might or might not have some of these features, but inside it will be the same. So take another transmission. It sounds good. You do not have to shout on this one either.
Well, that's a miracle, but thank goodness. And again, that does leave me wondering what's broken or what is about to explode or short circuit. But anyways, they're both fun to use. I think the charm on this one, since it does not have a Magic Eye tube, the charm on this one is to go get the Weber meat thermometer and then stick it on the top of this guy, because it gets just disturbingly hot. But there it is. We've already eaten dinner over here, so unfortunately I won't be cooking any more on it. But anyways, thank you for letting me check both of these Robin tins. Even though I may not have much new to say about them, they're in both just an incredible joy to operate in. What a blast it is to listen to everyone on both these guys. I certainly appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. And 73 from the Radio Lounge.
Indeed. So thanks for bringing by. Always nice to get a two Robin boost of radios, kind of see what was the updated thing that they did. And, again, we always say this is like cars. It was a lot of competition going on. There were still a lot of manufacturers, although by 70, 72, Browning had dropped out. Tram was still around, but a lot of the radios had either maybe dropped making Class D stuff, or they had already were beginning to transition, like Pierce Simpson was and E.F. Johnson was, to the transistor radios in the late 60s and the early 70s. And someone just made a comment, and I like the fact that they said how excited, it was Pete, how excited, or imagine how excited in 1972 to be unboxing that. And I think I actually have, thanks to one of our listeners, and let me get the full page here, of the radio. Thank you, Chris Callahan. The radio and the box. Coming out of the box, the T123, the green radio, and even on the box. And this is, a 17-pound, so probably a 20-pound box by the time you get the box weight and the microphone, which is the tiniest microphone for this radio. 5-watt, 23-channel Citizen band transceiver, the looks and performance of tomorrow by the designers and engineers of today. And little did they know that tomorrow would take them all the way into the 21st century here in November of 2025, as we're still talking about the radios. Good job. Thanks for bringing by Radio 3, the Robin T123. And then its later version, the 123B from Panasonic, Japanese import, 1972 to 76. Same thing with the 12-volt DC and 15-volt AC, 11 tubes. And also at oldtuberadio.com, there's an operator's manual for this on PDF and a schematic as well. Someone asked about the tube. The final first audio modulator mic preamp, a 12AX7. That's why the audio is so darn good. Find your rolled 12AX7 and put the good 12AX7 in there. And the 6BQ5, I think, is the final output. Thanks. You might indeed be listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
How about that Old Tube Radio Network?
Dennis 60.
All right, Joe, hang on one. Jump into the green room. We will call you. There'll be a flashing light, and maybe you'll get an escort into the air chair here. That's how much we like hearing from you. But in the meantime, speaking of air chairs, I do believe that Sangertown is sounding good tonight to take a transmission 14.
Yeah, SWL 14 checking in, and I'd also like to check in tonight on my Super Master Command 12. So the Super MC-12 by General Radio Telephone.
All right, sounding good. It's been a great evening. We've got baseball. It's been quiet, a little bit of skip going on, but generally just a quiet evening. General Radio Telephone, the Master Control, the MC-12 we were talking about, the late 60s, the early 70s, and the manufacturers of said radios sort of dropping out It started to get very expensive to make radios. You were now competing with the Panasonic Japanese exports coming in, and so here was one of those casualties that we were talking about. It is General Radio Telephone out of beautiful downtown Burbank. This is their last radio. I'm not even sure if it got type accepted. The company was sold to Skyhawk Communications, but it is as big and as beefy as they ever got, and your sound is demonstrating that to take a transmission.
Yeah, a couple things changed on this one. It's got the gigantic rack handles, whereas the other ones have the real thin spaghetti. This thing has the big 3/8 round stock rack handles, and really a heavy-duty radio. Tonight I have it on a unamplified D104 desk mic, and the other thing about my Super MC12 is it has a fan bolted to the top of it that really gives it a industrial look. So it fits it really nice. I like the way the fan looks, and really a nice radio. It's in good condition, and the only modification is the fan to the top of it.
Yeah, not a bad modification at all. Still leaving the front panel very classic design. And we've got a close-up, and those are big rack handles like you might see on some professional gear at your local radio or TV station or shop. Super MC12. I think it still says, I'm on the close-up, but it's hard to read. I think it still says it's 24 channels, so it kept the Civil Air Patrol in that they had on the other radios. Let's see. Here's the quick story, and we all know the Super MC12 was very much the Super MC11A. General Radio Telephone was sold to Skyhawk Antenna Company in 1972. They upgraded the MC12 with a much larger and powerful final audio tube, and so a lot of people like these to do some modifications. The MC12 was not able to be type accepted by the FCC, and this was the last General Radio Telephone that company manufactured. So a rare item indeed. Still has the General Radio Telephone logo between the selector switch and the S meter. And I can't tell from the picture here, did they still have a bullhorn on this?
Yes, it does have the bullhorn. And I lied. The other thing that's modified is the RF tone or NF tone, whatever that says, in and out. That straps it and then unstraps it, I believe. But it really doubles the power of the radio when you mush that.
Indeed. Great audio. Look and see if I have a tube complement on this. It doesn't look like they put that in there, but it still might have the ECLL 800, a very rare tube for the final, and I know it's got the 12AX7. And I think they if you've got the original tubes on the 12AX7, they must have did a really good job of picking high quality, or the AX7s that work for voice rather than music, because just about all of the Super Series MC9, 11, 11A, 12 come in, and the audio is just great with the stock supplied microphone. You really don't need an amplified microphone if you have one. You got to turn it way, way down. Good job. Glad you were able to jump in before we jump out. Got Joe standing by, and I will get 14 and number 8 checked in as well tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the time tonight and the check-in, and thank you again for the Super MC12.
All right, and that's 14 and 9. I always get that number mixed up. Looking good, and nice clear audio tonight. We've had a clear channel all night, so it's been a good time. Thank you. Jingle Singers, I want them to stand by because we want to get the radios in here before we have to sign out. And Joe, your light is flashing and you're jumping into the air chair. We're over to you. Over.
I appreciate that. Got a couple of lights flashing for that. Anyway, from the radio room here, I'd like to check in my Mustang 2. from Metrotech. The old Mustang 2, I think it's got 7 tubes, 8 channels. I have a listing here on the front of the radio. Let me, well, there you go, now I can see a little better. Anyway, it says 9, 11, 14, and 23. Interesting. Anyway, the selector is on 2. I imagine that'd be channel 11. And there's 8 tubes involved, and this is the original stock mic.
Very good. This is the one I don't have the greatest shot of, but we do have a shot. Looks like the stock mic plugging into the left side of the radio. They did put an S meter in there for you. Almost kind of reminds me of the blue radio where they put the S meter in, but it's got different. It's got the nice little convection holes on the top, so you don't need to put a fan on there. Got nice loud audio. The Mustang 2. Little did they know that probably, 12, 13 years later, probably even later than that, about 15 years later, there would be a car called a Mustang 2.
Yeah, pretty nice cars too, is that. In fact, a brother of mine had one, pretty nice little fastback. But this is the Mustang 2 Citizens Band transceiver. All of the knobs are horizontally at the base of the radio. A little emblem, looks like a little McDonald emblem. It says Metrotech, and it has your spotter switch, your fine tune, of course, your channel selector, and a vertical meter on it. Pretty nice little setup. It's got about a 2x4 inch speaker in the front, and I guess it's a light color, cream color, beige color, possibly beige.
The shot we have is kind of sepia tone, but it has almost a yellow tint to what we have. But it's got if you've got all the original knobs, which you made, it looks like it's got the cream colored knobs, and you've got the switch with the red light and everything else. I don't know if you've got your glasses on, but is the meter working? I'm just wondering if I'm 9 pounds good modulation.
You know, I would have been the first one to tell you if you were under 9, more like under 10. I would have been the first one to tell you that your carrier was low and your modulation was right with it.
Good deal. Well, the skip is still kind of rolling in tonight, so we might have something happening. Anybody wants to stay out there after the net tonight and see what is happening? I have a feeling maybe the Northwest Territory will break in. Marking you down for radio number 6 on the Metrotech Mustang 2. Talked to a couple of Metrotechs back in the day. They weren't as prevalent as the Lafayette's and the E.F. Johnsons, but I think they were an affordable radio. They gave you good value to get the 23-channel receive and the crystal controls in there, and didn't break the bank like the Brownings and the Demcos and the Trams did. So glad you got that one, and glad it's right here to be checked in.
I would thank you much, Dennis and Kenny, if you're listening. Doggone it, this is for you there for sure. Okay, I got another one. We'll get to it real quick, like.
Okay, no problem. The jingle singers have it sauntered up to the ribbon microphone, giving you a chance to switch the coax and letting our listeners know it's the latest news and whatever you do.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
60.
I always like they always say wonderful Fresno. I'm just wondering what they know that we don't.
Wonderful Dodgers. Maybe it's because the World Series is always won here in Fresno or here in California. Shame on the mess. Anyway, Dennis, from the Robin 23 Citizens Band transceiver, all 23 channels, I'd like to check in my Robin T123B.
Is in good company. We had one just a few moments ago, the 123. We showed the box. when he mentioned about, nice getting that big box, and it was a fancy box talking about the great technology. Let me put a close-up. We didn't go across the face here. We got the range expand. Let's just stop right there. You've got a TX and an RX light, which I believe you're getting the green light on me right now. But the range expand, are you on or off? Over.
I am on the range expander. I'm on a pre-amplified D104, and the range boost is on.
Range boost, and that's probably for non-amplified microphones. It's rare that I hear anybody running the range boost off, but were you to do that, then you would just adjust with the microphone. But that would allow you to run, I don't know, Shure 444, the standard. Well, we've had some good audio with stock microphones tonight, especially what Dennis was doing with that D104 on the EF Johnson. The Robbins on this particular Panasonic chassis gave you the fine tune and the RF gain. That wasn't in a lot of the Panasonic 2 chassis. Plus, they gave you the external speakers switch and the PA, and then brought some lights out to the front. Of course, all 23 channels. And you have mentioned this before. I think yours has some modifications where they were flipping some extra crystals in there on the synthesis or the whatever they were doing to get you some extra channels. But channel 11 is where you need to be on Saturday. Over.
Yeah, exactly. There are a couple of micro switches here in the front, right between where it says channel, the L and the C on channel Citizen, right between the L and the C, and I'm not going to say the first screw by the meter because there shouldn't be a screw there, but just a little bit right of the meter, there's another switch there. So there's a couple of micro switches there that give me a few extra channels, clear down to 26 to about 39. I think I'm missing 28. But a few extra channels, a little something extra to play with.
Did you give yourself a little 3x5 card cheat sheet so you can figure out where you're at?
Yeah, in fact I did. You're talking about the channels, the extra channels?
Yeah, because you flip a switch, you could go into Never Never Land.
Yeah, I'd be afraid of that. So far I've managed to, with a walkie-talkie, find 26, 27, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, and 35. Missing 28 and 33.
You almost got them all, but of course, Channel 11 is the place to be on a Saturday evening. We're glad that it covers that. The audio is good. You're getting some good comments on the people listening in, as well you should, because the radio sounds great. One of our favorites here. And if Chrissy is watching the replay, we've got some green radios for you tonight. Thanks for bringing it by. It's sounding good. Over.
Good deal. Okay, Dennis. I'll switch a cable, and I should be done tonight. With another radio, I'll be done.
All right, that's another opportunity for our ham-it-up jingle singers to do some spelling. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
Doing a little counting and amounting here, and then we'll sign out and go attend to the clocks, figure out which way to go. See, if you have a lot of old clocks, going forward is good. I used to know a guy who probably had 100 clocks in his house, and they were all very expensive clocks. And when you have wooden gears and old grandfather clocks, you've got two choices. You do not turn them backwards. You do not crank the hands backwards. So you either go 23 hours around and around and around to get them where you go, or you remember to turn them all off for about an hour and 5 minutes and then turn them back on, start the pendulums moving. and then tweak them back into the proper time. So if that's your job tonight, hope you have a fun time with the Old Tube Radio Network listening. Joe, you have made it back over.
Yeah, doggone it. We ran into a few problems hooking up, and of course, we didn't get any sound from the radio, and the mic wasn't plugged in. Shame on the man. Anyway, Dennis, I'd like to check in my Johnson. 23 channels, all 23 channels.
We have the trifecta on the E.F. Johnsons tonight. I'm ruining my pocket protector. We have the trifecta on the E.F. Johnsons tonight from the Viking Messenger 1, whiteface, the Messenger 2, blackface, and then the combination of those two radios, the culmination of those two radios into the Messenger 223, which is appropriately named and sounding good. There's the picture. We'll go back to you for transmission.
Thank you much, here, Dennis. 10 tubes. On and off, a volume, a couple of knobs on the bottom, a channel selector, well-lit radio, and a nice 4x4 speaker. Doggone it, very plain-looking radio. Really a pleasure to use this when you don't have a lot of doodads in front of you. Straight AC, no. I guess you don't plug this to a mobile, but we'll take it like the way it is.
You are correct. They did not provide any way to do mobile with this, and we've talked about this before. I think part of that was they really wanted you to buy one of their, this is 69, 70, 71. They were starting to come out with solid state, the 123 and the 323. You could still use the Messenger 2 in the 12-volt configuration. So I think it was a marketing thing saying, well, now that you've got your base radio, we'll fix you up with one of our newfangled other radios. So there it is. And I'm probably good they didn't do that. A little less hassle and parts, but boy, it sure is a nice for something that doesn't have 16 knobs and isn't 2 or 3 pieces like a Demco or a Buddy bass or whatever. It's a nice radio just sitting there, right?
You know, that's exactly right, Dennis. You have your volume, your squelch, turn your radio on and off. Your channel selector, no modulation light anywhere to be found. I heard one time it possibly was in the unit below, inside the chassis. Could be brought outside, they said, if you wanted. But doggone it, we'll take it the way it is, Dennis. A well-lit radio, a well-performing radio, and definitely it's been a pleasure owning this one. This was not a gift, but I got this from Louis, our old good friend Louis. I think number 93 he was, and it's been a pleasure running it all these years. Again, thanks a whole lot there, Dennis, for letting me check this one in.
It is my pleasure, and that is why I am in the air chair, to make sure we get as many radios stopping by as we can manage in 2+ hours, and then minus an hour, plus an hour, whatever we're doing tonight, fall back. So we're getting an extra hour, I believe. Sounding good and looking good as well. Over.
Thank you much, Dennis. Okay, that'll do it for me on this one. I've got one left, but if we're running short on time there, it's okay.
I'm checking with the message. They said no. The Jingle Singers want to do yet another item of interest, and that will give you time to do what we call in the biz as the old switcheroo. So maybe we are in our old tube radio 11th inning here as we count down the radios to find out who's the most heard manufacturer tonight. Who's winning the World Series? You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. You know, when you hear this one, it's getting late in the evening.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
Hello, over.
7.2. The microphone on it is a preamplified single plus 3. And with all the little doodads, he's ready to go mobile with you'd like to play and just keep the vertical meter on it. And that will do it for me tonight. And the Bulldogs, I know weren't mentioned, but their factor is a little stronger on Boise. I think it was like 27-7. So we give them a chance. And of course, we know that the Dodgers won the World Series, so well, I think that'll wrap up Halloween there.
It will indeed. Do not go too far, because I want to check something on that radio. We've heard it many times before, and I know how it can perform. The audio on that last transmission was quite low, so keep an eye on, I think you've got a mod light there, maybe a wiggle meter, as we say in the business. Next transmission, key that up again and see if it will fire up with 100% mod. Go ahead.
Okay. We turned what they call the volume switch on the mic. That was practically off.
You are back and bigger than ever. Over.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, Dennis, well, doggone it, that'll do it for me. I just mentioned that Bulldogs gave Boise State a whooping that they won't forget for a while. And now we know the Dodgers are world champs, and Halloween has done its damage. Of course, it was slow this year. But, Dennis, thank you for letting me check in my little blue radio from World Radio Labs, 7 tubes, a Turner Plus 3 preamplified microphone.
Indeed. And I'm just double checking. You did check in, and it looks like I didn't write it down. I don't know why, but you did check in the 123B, right? That's the one with the switches on it.
Yeah, that was, the one, actually 223 was the one before this one. It was the 123B.
And like Mike mentions, that runs super duper hot, right?
Boy, I'll tell you one thing, Dennis, doggone it, don't ever feel that if your stove ever quits on you, you're not going to be able to cook the meat tonight. Because with this 223 and a small grill, not very big, if you like your meat medium rare, boy, this guy will do it.
Just make sure you wrap it in the super duper aluminum, heavy duty aluminum foil. All right, thanks for bringing by the Blue Radio. It's a favorite, always sounds good. There were some people worrying, is that, what happened to the Hustler, and then you found the knob, and that's all is well in the old tube radio world. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, any last call for any type of check-in here on the old tube radio network? Finally figuring out after all these times how to use the preamp. Let's do the announcement. If I can get the announcer here. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
This will be the current and final totals here on the old Tube Radio Network. A great net tonight. It was nice and quiet all the way around. The World Series did what it does. Hopefully you weren't too disappointed, or you were elated, or you just didn't care. But here you are, the old Tube Radio Network, and let's see what happened. A new 8-week period. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, is going to be 9 pounds and good modulation for the next 8 weeks, whether he likes it or not. Check-ins tonight, 22 on 1, 22 on 2, 13 on 3, and 22 on 4 for a total of, looks like, 77. A reminder, you don't have to be on any piece of paper list if you are able to check in at oldtuberadio.net. Hello to who's listening? Florida, Edmond, Alberta, Washington, Virginia, Minnesota, Maine, and the stations in California tuned in that way. Who knows who might be watching the video live or ex post facto. And of course, on our radio tonight, the local stations checking in and providing the tube radios, which is why we have been doing this almost 40 years on a Saturday evening. Something to get dressed up for, just like the guy in one of the ads. You gotta look nice when you're on your tube radio back in the day. Radios tonight, there were 9, and the most heard manufacturer, now that I've got my chart is correct, and someone noticed that it's a tie between E.F. Johnson, Edgar F., and the gang at Robin. Good stuff. Good radios tonight. E.F. Johnson, Viking Messenger. We got all 3 of the E.F. Johnson of their tube radios for Class D in tonight. First was the E.F. Johnson Viking Messenger Whiteface. Thanks for Dennis for that. 1017. Sort of re-resurrected. Nice audio on a standard D104 microphone. Those radios were really made for those types of microphones. Didn't need to have any amplification or special stuff. It was the old school. Give me your tired, your worn out microphone, and I will make it sound good. Or even if it's not tired and worn out. Radio number 2, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 2. The next radio that Johnson made, the Messenger 1, first out at 1958-59 when there was Class D. The upgrade, the 2. Thanks, Joe, for that. The Robin T123, late 60s, early 70s. Late 60s, early 70s on the T123 from Mike. And then 47 also gave us the T123 Bravo, the upgrade to the newer, at that time, Panasonic chassis with the plate modulation. Nice to have Sean in the air chair on a nice quiet evening where Sanger is booming into Fresno. No problem. On the General Radio Telephone Super MC12, a very rare item indeed. Top of the line and very good audio, just with stock microphones or not. They don't make them like that anymore, that's for sure. Thanks for radio number 5. Radio 6 was Joe on the Metrotech Mustang 2. Affordable for most, but hard to find them today. After that, he brought by the Robin T123B, tying the Robins, or putting the Robins in first place for the most heard radio. And then he brought by the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, bringing Edgar F. and all that gang back into the first place spot with the tie. And then World Radio Labs hustler Leo Meyerson thinking, yeah, we can do what E.F. Johnson did and Hallicrafters did and take about 50 pounds off the radio, pull out about 60 watts, and we'll be Class D as well. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I enjoyed the evening tonight. I'm not a big baseball fan, but, growing up in Southern California is like, okay, hooray for the Dodgers. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you can do something like this where you are. Get on the air night. It doesn't have to be tube radios. It just has to be whatever you can muster up. If you're studying for your amateur radio license, still good conditions all the way around, and it's really, really easy to make an antenna out of a piece of wire if you get yourself a radio and talk all over the world. See you next week. Yeah, I'll be here next week. It's 2 weeks from now. I will be out of the air chair, but we'll see you next week, and we'll talk about that. 72 plus 1. We'll catch you next time on the Old Tube Radio Network. Managed to only talk the radio off a couple of times. Whoa, 125. Well, the nice thing is that at some point it's going to be 125 again. You'll get. Thank you. You will get to relive the 125, and I guess I should say, don't forget to do that clock thing.
Oh, that's right. We got that, and all of that are still listening out there on the band. Don't forget NFL football tomorrow.
And the Bulldogs, was that a today game or a yesterday game?
That was at noontime today. It was on YouTube against Boise.
Were they in Idaho?
Yes, sir. Yeah, doggone it, they played their hearts out. They played like wild animals, I should say. I guess they were didn't want to again get beat like the way they got beat this past Saturday. They made up for it. They almost chained Boise. Boise would have actually if they didn't make that one touchdown, they might have had nothing as far as points go. But it was about 27-7, so go Bulldogs.
Good deal. I have a good friend that you visited me here in Fresno oftentimes and moved to near Boise, so I'll have to mention if he was watching the game and see what was going on. All right, good things. Say goodnight to everybody, and I think it's time to go to the green room and pick up another package of those little M&Ms.
I'd like to have those, what you talked about, the Brussels sprouts, or I'm not sure what they were, apricot candy.
Yeah, we're tired of the candy, so we put in the dish, we put broccoli and dried apricots. Actually, I don't know about the broccoli right now, but I do have a couple of dried apricots. I mean, that will be the item of interest.
Yeah, good deal. Okay, Dennis, we'll get on out of here. Wyoming's next for the Bulldogs, so go Bulldogs.
All right, good deal. I'm going to jump out of the air chair for a couple minutes, and I may come back. I think I'm able to set the radio up for some HF stuff. 40 meters might actually be open a little bit. So, I haven't I haven't been beat up enough tonight in prior episodes. I actually feel like staying on the radio. So we'll come back, maybe do some 40 meter stuff in a little bit. All right, the old Tube Radio Network saying 73. And you know what? They haven't walked out of the door yet, have they? Where did it go? I think we can do this. Yeah, okay. No, it's still in the queue. And yeah, I mean, if you tuned in late, or you need something to soothe your soul as you get ready to go to sleep, here they are again. Because we can only do this once a year.
I was working some DX late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my SWR began to rise. And suddenly, before my eyes, there was a monster crash. A monster crash. Things went up in a flash. There was a crash. It blew out the sash. Shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash. From the lavatory in the bedroom east to the family room where the teenagers feast. The family were jolted from their humble abodes. A static discharge from my tube electrodes. It was a monster crash. A monster crash. They ran a 50-yard dash. It was a crash. Well, I broke out in a rash. Shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash. The relays were sparking tons. The magic smoke had just begun. I fumbled for the kill switch and turned around to run. The shack was rocking, it was making strange sounds. My tower started twisting, then dropped to the ground. The fire department was about to arrive, with sirens wailing as they entered the drive. They heard a monster crash. A monster crash. They backed off in a flash. It was a crash. Scrambled out in a dash. Shack is trash. I'm gonna cost wads of cash. Out from the wreckage my cell phone did ring. My neighbor, he was troubled by just one thing. He heard all the noise, raised his voice and said, "Keep it down, you fiend, I'm trying to go to bed." He heard a monster crash. A monster crash. I said, "I'll show you my lash." He hung up in a rash. Check his trash. I'm gonna cost wads of cash. Everything's cool. I'm back upon the band. My monster crashes legend all across the land. For SWLs are listening, this tale is meant to. Forget to ground your gear and it'll cost you. You hear a monster crash. A monster crash. Things blow up in a flash. There'll be a crash. You'll run off in a dash. The shack is trash. Gonna cost lots of cash. Easy, bozo, you impetuous old man.